Oh, hey.
You okay?
I'm great.
This is not the greatest idea I've ever had.
This might be the dumbest idea Chad's ever had. Going for a little joyride.
What's up, guys? Chad, Adler Farms. Hold on. So if you've been watching the channel, we got beaver problems and turtle problems and snake problems, and I'm terrified of pretty much all of them things. So we're gonna back up on the peninsula, but I couldn't tell how far to back up, even though I got a rear view camera. So Ray's actually sitting on the back of the truck. Here comes the sketchy part. Now I can't see anything because the tailgate's down. This is a bad idea.
I think we're going beaver hunting.
What do you guys think will happen if I just floor it and dump her in the pond? The truck, not Ray. Good?
Yeah.
Are we aiming down the center?
Sure. Keep going. Keep going. Hey, go that way.
Still good?
Still alive. It's just a bumpy ride.
All right, I want to dangle our feet over the water. Hey, if you see a beaver, shoot it.
I got him close.
She chickened out. We got like 8 more feet. Whoa, goose egg. Goose egg. It's broken though.
Babe, be
What?
careful.
It's okay.
No.
Nobody knows yet. Oh, goodness. Ah, buddy. I did something that requires surgery. Nobody knows. Ray's trying to tattle. Whew, look at that thing. Goodness. That stinks. Little rascals. That's why we gotta them all.
Yeah.
Something broke that, ate the baby, and then threw it down.
You see that fish jump?
Is that a fish
I think so.
or the beef?
No, it was a fish.
All right. It's finally not windy out here.
Super nice.
Hey, seriously, you see that beaver, say something. What's up, guys? If I look tired, it's because I am. But I didn't put in a full day's work either. I've been sitting down here shooting snakes, and I did get a shot off at the beaver, but man, he's an elusive little critter. Maybe we'll see him. They say the best time to hunt him is at dusk. But anyway, yeah.
He hides good.
He hides really well. Well, today he swam at the bank and went right into the hole that he's dug into the bank. So that was that. I also need a new pew. Yeah, they agree. This 22 is not going to cut it. So I've got other ones, but not for this purpose. I've got obnoxiously, yeah, we just want to make the beaver go away. We don't want to into oblivion. Okay, so anyway, so I just keep waiting for him to swim. Anyway, yeah, so a couple weeks ago on the Chad and Ray channel, we posted a community post that we're going to do a Q&A, and then we never actually got around to it. It was actually before we went to Florida. And so tonight, like I mentioned, I'm not going to tell you yet, but I got hurt, and there's a doctor's appointment. When will they see this? There's a doctor's appointment tomorrow morning. The night you guys see this, I got a doctor's appointment the next morning, and I'm not dying, but it hurts. But anyway, that's enough about that for now. But
that's the reason you didn't film at the farm.
That's the reason I didn't film today entirely. I just not feeling it. And on the other side, though, is we did sign our contract on this land.
We did do that this morning, so he didn't really have time to film anyway.
Yep. Signed a contract, and then I had to take some stuff to the title company. Now, we don't have a warranty deed yet. Like, it's not deeded to us yet, but everything is done. It's in the title company's hands. Because of who owned this property and who owned it before them, we're not worried about any hidden liens or judgments or anything like that. We're golden. Now it's just kind of a waiting game. And not to mention, yesterday I actually went to the water company, and remember the water company We had a little setback, didn't know that the meeting required certain things, blah, blah, blah. But anyway, we will probably have water before the end of May, that's for sure. And we can also use our neighbor's water anytime we need to. He's got a huge, I think they're like, what's an IBC tote? 265 gallons. So we do have that, but let's just do this Q&A. We don't do them very often. And I don't think we've actually ever done one together. So there's that. Hang on, we're gonna sit down. I gotta unbuckle. Whew, big boy problems. Well, you got sweats on. You're sitting there in your comfy clothes. I'm over here G'd up, ready to kill a beaver.
I changed out of my work clothes though.
Clear as mud. If you want to see Alan get his meds, I need to shave again. Trim. If you want to see Alan get its meds, go over to Rae's Ranch and Rescue. It's a lot of fun. It's actually how I got hurt, Alan. But I think it was payback.
Just can't catch a break.
Let's answer some questions. These are some from some loyal subs and then a couple names I don't recognize, but they're in no particular order whatsoever. And I do believe I took a screenshot of every single legit question that was on there. Some were like, you know, way out there, vague questions. I couldn't really tell what your point was, but anyway.
Okay, this one's from Deborah Lehman. Are you going to be building some sort of barn or lean-to so animals will have some sort of cover?
Now remember, these actually came before we had all 3 alpacas. These questions are from 2 weeks ago.
Yes, they are.
So we do have what we call the alpaca play. Goodness.
That's an airplane.
We do have what we call the alpaca play, and we do plan to build a barn of some sort, something with stalls, mainly for Eddie.
Well, you know, we actually have back there, that barn. It's completely stable and in great shape. It's just got the thorns and stuff grown over it, but hopefully we'll be able to use that very soon. And then the next project is going to be building an actual shop, so.
For sure.
Yes.
We just had to wait a little bit, which remember, these questions came from 2 weeks ago. I'll stop saying that eventually, but these questions came from 2 weeks ago. We weren't even this far along in the closing process, so we couldn't tell you guys or show you a lot, but absolutely. Not all of our animals need it. The Highlands, specifically the alpacas, we've been told they don't need it.
They don't need shelter.
They don't. What they do need, though, is where the alpacas are, there's no real spot for them to get out of the wind and rain if they want to. They don't need it.
But we did build something, so they can now.
Yeah, yeah. So every animal, especially the ranch and rescue side, will have something to escape the weather, especially a rescue animal. In my last video on this channel, you guys saw a couple videos ago, I guess I bought a bunch of panels. And those panels are also for the rescue animals, where we can pin them up and make sure that they're safe and taken care of and can't get out. And we can actually box them in to the barn, like with a corral. So that's good.
This one is from Kathy Osborne. Has Rae found the position of the house? I have an idea, but it's probably going to change.
We still need to clear a lot of the land.
Yeah.
Actually, the barn we just talked about, I don't know what order these questions are going to come out in, but when we talked about the barn, there's a lot of land over there, probably 2 or 3 acres we can't even touch yet because it's still full of brush and weeds and thorns and things. So
this one's from Cheryl Woods. How did y'all meet? I heard Chad tell Carter you all met over a boo-boo on his head.
That's true.
It is true.
No, we're going to leave it at that. You don't want to, do you?
Be so mad. I mean, I want to. I don't.
Well, what is it? How do we meet? What?
How does anybody else in this world meet nowadays?
Online. Farmers only. That's not true. Somebody created a farmers only for me. Did I tell you that?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it wasn't my brothers say it wasn't them. But way back early on, somebody created me a farmers only, and I kept getting emails and requests, and I had to like call the company and tell them, hey, I didn't do this.
I can reconfirm that I did not find him on a farmers only dating app.
That's right.
Because I'm not on it.
I'm not on it anymore.
I don't know if you've had a dating app before in your life, but I have.
No, this might surprise everybody, but
we didn't meet on a dating app.
I'm not a big let's get on there and meet random strangers kind of person. I don't like the friends I know.
The power of the internet, though, I guess we can say that.
Well, it was Facebook.
Yeah.
This will be on Facebook too. So.
And I didn't know you did YouTube or anything like that, so it wasn't.
She wasn't stalking me like all y'all crazies out there.
I had no idea he existed until he needed to ask about Carter's boo-boo.
Well, Carter, we can tell him. Carter is very brave and very adventurous, jumps in head first, and then
concrete.
And then figures out what he's going to do. But he may have also, we haven't confirmed, he may have also had his shoes on the wrong feet that day, because that happens. Adler did it the other day, and I think it's because he's seen Carter do it.
Well, even if I correct Carter, he will leave them on the wrong feet.
Yeah, like once they're on, they're on. He ain't playing that game. Carter hit his head. She posted a picture of it on Facebook. I told her, don't worry, buddy. Or no, I commented to Carter, basically, and I just said, hey, don't worry, man. Chicks dig scars.
Yeah, that's what you said.
And Rae was like, I do dig scars. How many scars do you have?
Actually, I didn't even reply.
And here we are. That's not true.
I didn't reply to you.
Well, how'd we end up here?
Because you asked me, I think a couple hours later, what happened.
I don't remember that's how that went.
And I felt bad, so I had to tell you.
I don't remember that's how that went.
And then you didn't leave me alone, and now we're here, so.
Well, yeah, but you also said I love you first.
No, I didn't. That didn't
Next
happen.
question.
This one is from Mama D, Lady Trucker.
Mama D, she's been around a long time.
Okay. Is the pond stocked with fish? If so, do you know what kind? If not, do you plan to stock it? And with what?
By the way, Mama D's been a subscriber for a long time. I didn't mean to make it sound like she's been around a long time. That was awkward. Sorry, Mama D. Thanks for subscribing. But anyway, the pond currently, I know for a fact, has bass in it. I do not believe it has carp because I've never spooked anything off the banks. I've not seen catfish. So at this point, I'm guessing one grebe, one green heron, and some bass and some perch. But I've not actually seen anything but bass. So I don't know. If we were going to stock it though, definitely some kind of catfish. But let me know. I want cat, but I don't want them to overtake anything. I don't want them to eat all. I love bass fishing. I do. I can get catfish. There's a lot of places that have catfish, but you know, like right now it's a perfect time. The mayflies are going to be out soon too, and you can throw your frog out there at this time of night, man. But then there's something about smell of stink bait on your hands, catching the catfish and frying it right here. So
We'll put more fish out here.
wasn't one of your favorite meals catfish?
Fried catfish.
The way your dad made it?
Yes.
Awesome. That's what we need to do. Is that a turtle or a beaver? I think it's a turtle.
Good. It's not the beaver.
Angry beaver.
This one is from Sandra Cyrus. How do you say that? Getting a companion dog for Smokey.
Yes. Absolutely. In the video where we lost Smokey, we actually mentioned that we have another dog coming for her. It is a male. We do plan to have them be boyfriend and girlfriend. He is a puppy still. I believe he just turned 8 weeks. And he's with a friend that actually raises him, which is where Smokey came from as well. So he's going to have those good genes, and that's all we're going to tell you. I actually have a name picked out.
Yeah, and I love it. You will too.
Yep, you guys will like it.
This one's from Robin Sweet Cow. Hi, Chad and Rae. I like to know what's the most exotic and wild and weird animal you like to put on your ranch rescue farm.
Animal you want to put out here?
I wanted alpacas and emus, and now we have both, so I don't know what's next, to be honest. Oh, mini donkeys, actually. He's got a full-size donkey right now.
Which we answer in a later question.
Oh, yeah. Well,
but
and then a mini donkey is next. That's not wild or exotic, but wild and exotic.
I want a yak.
Oh, yeah.
Or an elk, but I think an elk is going to need too much room and a really high fence. So we stink at fencing, so we'll probably not do it. There's elk in Arkansas. What are you talking about?
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't know.
She's from Alaska, so like the big animals only exist up north.
It's not true. Oh, a yak. He wants a yak.
I do. I just want to walk around and say yakety yak. That's all. And then
what
he
do you
can
do with a yak in Oklahoma, though? Like,
milk it. Yak milk. I just made that up.
okay. Well, anyway, I don't know what other animals are coming. We'll see what happens. Oh, a tortoise.
Socata? Socata.
Yep.
That's what we want.
Anyway, this one's from Kathleen Bone. What kind of house are you going to build? A traditional brick type or a manufactured home? Barn dough.
I'm thinking barn dough. Part of me, I'm really working on Rae. I don't know how she feels about it. And I kind of agree because the boys are young. If they were older, she'd be down. But I really want to do like a tiny home village on the property.
I knew where he was going with that.
Oh, yeah. Mom and dad's quarters. Case could be like the other side of the pond. We build him a tree house. Oh, an extra bedroom in our mini cottage for mom and dad for Carter and Adler because they're still young, and when it thunders hard, they still wake up. And so do I.
Going in a separate house.
I don't know. It'd be a whole lot quieter.
It's not happening.
I'll put it this way. Somewhere, a tiny home is going on this property, and no kids will be allowed.
We'll build a house, and then we're going to build we talked about it, like a little, I don't know.
A parent's retreat.
There you go.
I'm going to put a lock on it.
But the kids
build a
aren't
moat
having
around
their own
it.
houses. That's not happening. No.
Case probably will wind up above the garage, though. But it'd be like a connected garage with a breezeway.
Well, yeah. Well, Case is already 13 too, and by the time we build, he's going to be a lot older, so that's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
But the other two boys probably need a little bit more supervision than Case at this.
I mean, Carter only ate like 6 of those cereal bars by himself yesterday, and then half a dozen Reese's. My Reese's.
Yeah, I had 6 cereal bar wrappers on his bed. Clean it all up. Go in there an hour later, and there's 7 Reese's, the Easter egg Reese's, 7 wrappers on his bed, and then a Snickers wrapper.
What's funny is when we met, she was like, Carter don't eat that stuff.
He didn't.
He don't drink pop. Which he still doesn't drink pop, but she was like, he don't eat that. He'll eat strawberries, raspberries, blueberries,
He still does. He didn't even like chocolate, and now he's hanging out with all of them.
I went into his room, and it was kind of like almost bedtime, but kind of not. And I was just seeing if anybody needed anything to eat, and it was very apparent Carter was not hungry because there was all these cereal bars and Reese's wrappers in his bed, and I think a popcorn thing too, and a juice box. There was a bunch of stuff in there, but I came out and I told Rae, I was like, hey, your boy has finally been hanging out with them DOS boys long enough. We got him converted.
Yep, and all he said was, go look.
So, anyway, it's all good.
I'm pretty sure you guys laughed really hard when I walked in and said, Carter Glenn.
That was awesome. Carter was just like, what?
He's like, I was hungry.
That's totally normal. You go into Case's room, it's even worse.
Even though he had just had dinner.
Yeah.
This one is from Cheryl Lindley. When I first saw Rae, she didn't really seem like a farm girl. How difficult has it been for her to get accustomed to your life? That's funny because
you grew up more farm than I did.
It's literally the opposite.
She showed them scary rabbits with the red eyes.
Yeah, so I actually, when I was in the 4th grade, I think, and then a couple years after, but I started showing 4-H when I was in 4th grade, and I don't really think she was albino, but I had a white rabbit, and I showed rabbits in 4-H.
But you also grew up on more than 10 acres and...
Yeah, we didn't have a farm, but my aunt grew up, or they lived just right here in Quapaw, actually, which is down the road, and they had a farm, horses, all the things, and my best friend growing up showed goats in 4-H, and her dad used to make us go out there and clean the stalls, and we'd ride our horses, and I don't think you've ever done any of that, have you?
No, I'd never touched hay until I was a senior in high school. And to raise money for our senior trip, they auctioned us off for like service around the community. And an anesthesiologist in the area, a real known guy, hey, I don't know if you watch this or not, but he follows us on Facebook, but he actually bought myself and a couple other buddies for like 4 hours one afternoon and made us buck hay out of a square baler up onto a trailer. And that was my first experience with anything like that. I did not know what hay does if you don't wear long sleeves. And I learned real quick that a tank top was not the proper attire, and neither was shoes with no socks.
I grew up pretty much as country as it gets.
Your school was more country too.
Yeah, like I grew up in a very small town. We, like you said, I lived on more than 10 acres. I was always out on a 4-wheeler roaming the woods. My dad hunted. We ate our own deer meat.
Yeah, my dad didn't hunt. I don't think he eats meat. I haven't seen him eat meat.
It's funny how everyone has that backwards. This one's from Joanne Kaiser. Is Rae getting mini donkeys, and are you getting a full-size donkey for your animals? Both.
We have a full-size donkey that lives at the neighbors, and when they move, which should be soon, we hope we get our donkey back. But he's kind of fallen in love with, so he's a paint donkey, and I've shown him in one video, but he, I believe, got pulled from his mom and dad, and he wasn't happy about it. So he ran to the neighbors where there's a paint donkey, and he follows them around like a shadow. So when we get the Highlands down here, I think he'll calm down a little bit, because he was living with cows, and I think that's what he missed, was something to be with.
And they have cows over there.
They actually have Highland.
They have a Highland.
Yep, that's the beaver.
That is not the beaver.
What was that?
That wasn't big enough.
This beaver's huge. So every time I see a big swirl, I'm telling you, I got him earlier with a 22, but it just bounced off. He had like armor on. Yep, we're getting more donkeys.
Everyone's gonna say, "Don't kill the beaver."
Yeah, the beaver is drilling through my peninsula as we speak.
They destroy ponds, in case anybody didn't know.
We're gonna have beaver nuggets.
He has a shirt that says that. Literally, he's saving it for...
The day I get the beaver, I'm wearing that shirt. I'm gonna drive the beaver all over town.
You're so funny. This one's from Jill Martin. Hi guys, my only question is, how can you keep Smokey and the other animals safe without anyone being on hand? I can't wait to address that question, even in my video.
Now Jill's a longtime subscriber, and this question came 2 weeks before. So this was prior to Alan getting attacked. This was prior to the donkey jumping out. But since then, unrelated to Jill's question, we've been just nailed with keeping animals safe and how we do this and how we do that. That wasn't Jill's angle, but go ahead.
I don't know, what do you say?
Everybody needs to calm down.
Yeah.
God made animals. They can survive. They're fine. Alpacas are protectors. The reason Alan couldn't defend himself is because he was already hurt. Like, that's just it. I mean...
Well, and the other thing I want to say is, you were here. There's not many moments that we're not actually here.
It's really just night.
And, yes,
but at night, everybody's asleep. You know what I mean? It's not like they're safer at night if you're here, you know?
We live 5 minutes down the road. Literally. I mean, we could be here in...
We also have some good neighbors.
Yes, we can be here in 5 minutes. There's not really any moment that we're not actually here, besides at night, like he was saying. And we also have cameras.
We do.
Everywhere. All over the property.
We have cameras aimed at cameras, and they're cell phone cameras. So even if somebody takes the camera, we still got a picture.
And as soon as there's any slight movement, his phone blares.
Yep. And even if you take my camera, I'll find you.
I mean, even when the donkey ended up jumping the fence, none of the neighbors even knew we had him yet. And we were here. We knew he was out. We were actually chasing him. But it hadn't even been 2 minutes before the neighbor right over here was calling us, asking if we got a donkey, because he was running down the gravel road. And we were like, we know. You know, I read a comment the other day that said, it's not fair to your neighbors. I mean, not only do we have 3 amazing neighbors on either side of us, but one of our neighbors actually has our steers.
True.
I mean, they're...
Well, not to mention there's a ranch around it. There's actually, what, 1, 2, 3? There's like 5 ranches between here and the next town.
Yeah.
And no one lives on those ranches. And they run like 5,000 head of cattle. They run the stockyards. They do it all. I mean, it's not normal. I mean, I could name some bigger creators who don't live on their property either. But some of you guys... And I understand sometimes they try to draw the line between a ranch and a rescue and a farm. Like, they see the farm and they're like, okay, well, cows can defend themselves, but what about your alpacas? Well, first off, Eddie sleeps in the most bougie crate you've ever seen, with a dog pad and fresh wood chips or shavings.
Yeah, the emu is actually living inside of our house in the middle of town.
And will for probably another month or 2. If Rae has her way, 6 months.
If there's not... Probably. But if there's an animal like Eddie who can't be out here alone, even though they're not alone, then they're not going to be out here. Eddie lives in the house.
Yeah. And we also talked to the gentleman we bought Alan from, raises alpacas. He's about 5 hours. He's actually down by Daniel and Brandon Eddy. He's down in Sulphur. Mm-hmm. He raises alpacas. And I asked him, I said, what do you think? We saw him at the auction when we bought Alan. And I said, what do you think about putting a dog with your alpacas? And he goes, I don't put a dog with my alpacas. He said, there's a mini donkey in there, but he doesn't run a dog with them because he wants them to be alert. He wants them to be afraid of everything and just run. He's not out there 24/7. He said they're fine. Alan just had a bad stroke or streak of unfortunate incidents, and he's now on the mend. It's nothing that's happened anywhere else. I mean, I'll put it this way. The Beefy Boys, when we first got them, nobody even knew this, but when the Beefy Boys, when we first got them almost 2 years ago, before we ever even met, Brisket jumped over a cattle panel trying to get out and got hung up halfway and cut him on the inside, kind of where Alan was. And I sent a picture to several of my farming buddies. I didn't say anything. I don't want to say their names, I should say. And they were like, oh, they're animals. They'll be fine. Just spray some blue coat on it. Tetanus shot. They've already had it. This, that, and the other. And guess what? The Beefy Boys made it to 880 pounds and 842 pounds, and they're absolutely delicious. Just calm down. You want to mention the fencing real quick?
Oh, yeah. Okay, so I've gotten a lot of comments, too, about the alpacas and how the fence is leaning, but there is actually...
talking about that fence line right there.
Yeah, so there is very sturdy field fence that was already actually on this side and then that side. And we didn't take it down because it is sturdy and it is tight. We checked it, but it has those big massive thorn bushes that we've been trying to get rid of. They're grown over the fence.
Well, Tina,
I want the fence removed and I want a new one, but right now we left it because
they don't mess with it.
Well, right now it's useful and it's standing up, but what we did do was lean cattle panels up against the brush, and that's where a lot of you are telling me that the fence is leaning, but it's not.
Or not even attached, or falling down,
yeah. So the
or there's
cattle
a gap.
panels, they're not attached. They're just leaning up against it for
But it's to keep
support.
Tina from walking up to it. And I will say this, and we just talked about it, the two female alpacas are definitely browsing. They've eaten that brush and those thorns, at least the green stuff off of them. Yeah. So we might find a way to even let them out on the other side, which would make it easier to take that field fence down. But, you know.
With how much it's grown up and over it, though, a lot of people are like, oh, other animals can get in or they can get out. Ain't nothing going through there, trust me.
Well, and
that would hurt.
Somebody said that fence, or that brush, people used to grow that was a natural fence, and then it just took over the prairies and the lands and all that stuff. There's more technical terms there, but basically whatever that stuff is, that's all over the property. People used to use that as a natural fence, and we have some up front on our frontage in the barbed wire line. So that's actually why this is a different story, but I'm going to set our fence back about 10 feet from where it's at, like into the property, to make that easier to take care of. But
long story short,
calm down.
Yeah, there's a fence behind the cattle panels, and the cattle panels are leaning. If anything tries to go through that brush, they're getting tangled.
Well, I'll tell you what, them girls, I got about a foot from Lady A today, but if you don't have treats, they just spit on you until you take a hike. They don't.
As a blended family, what new and recurring traditions are you doing or looking forward to doing?
Well, we just celebrated Easter.
The usual.
The usual.
We woke up bright and early because Adler wakes up at the crack of dawn.
Even if he goes to bed at 10 p.m.
Yeah. So they woke up to their Easter baskets on the table, and then I made waffles.
After they had chocolate bunnies for breakfast.
Yeah, Carter and Adler devoured both of their bunnies. So
Carter legit, I don't know if he's ever even had chocolate before we moved in.
That's what he didn't like.
As soon as I get him to drink pop, I will have won.
No.
Monster energy drink.
No.
Yep, that's happening.
No.
Right now he drinks my bubbly water, and he's like, "Bleh, bleh."
It's
like,
the
dude,
carbonation.
listen.
He doesn't like it, and it's fine.
Well, I'll get him some flat pop. Anyway.
Water. That's who it's from.
Yeah. This is, yep, she's been following the channel for a long time. It's all right. She should know me better than this, but go ahead.
Okay, last question. It's from Eden's Garden. Are you planning on having more children?
No.
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. Nope.
We should answer that together.
We just want more animals.
Yeah, so...
We're trying to build a tiny village so the kids we have can't live with us.
That's not true.
They eat all our food.
Yeah.
And it goes away so quick now.
Yeah. We have 3 boys.
Yeah, we already got a beaver we don't want, a donkey that won't come home. We don't need more. We don't need more little things that depend on us, but don't. I don't know.
Trying to take care of an injured alpaca. My emu's blind.
Let's have a baby.
I think I finally went into the bedroom last night to go to bed, and I told Chad, I said, I was like, I don't know what we're doing. Alan's injured, taking care of him. He's, around the clock antibiotics.
Alan gets shots every day, scarlet oil, and a few other things. But yeah, he's maintenance every day, which we grasp, we take on. It's okay. But the emu, go ahead.
I said, Alan's injured. You're injured.
And we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, it's an injury bad enough that he's gonna have to have surgery probably within the next 2 weeks. My emu's blind. We have 3 boys.
Daggone emu.
Who one of them is eating his body weight in Reese's and Snickers and Fruit Loop cereal bars right now, and
that could apply to 2 of the boys.
Yeah, and having growing pains.
Yep.
And gosh, what else? I work 8 to 5. I come home. I come to the farm.
We do this. But here's what we know, and this is what I told her. Yeah, no more kids. But here's what I know, and this is what I told her. This is the life we want. We're having a lot of fun. Is it stressful? Absolutely. But what things in life worth having are easy to get? I mean, it took me 37 years to find her. And look how happy I am. It's just, I couldn't be more grateful. I've never felt so blessed, or at least at my age now, had an appreciation for what we've got. And one of these days we have a serious testimony about this house, about this land and how we came into it. And I don't even know if that's a Q&A. That's a whole video for itself. But some very awesome people approached me about this land. And we're going to leave them on a giant cliffhanger. I'm going to get in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, I mean, we were searching for land, sure, but this particular 20 acres actually found us.
It found us, and I blew it off.
It found you.
I blew it off because it was too far from home. And then I met Rae, and it was like 10 minutes from her house. And then I was like, we started looking for land, and this just circled back around, and I reached out to the person, and it was still available to just us. And today we signed a contract on it. So we are very, very blessed and very grateful y'all are here. We couldn't be happier. I really couldn't. Unless that donkey walked himself over here, I might get a little happier. But
he's mean, though.
He is kind of mean. I tell you what, if you guys are worried about protection of our farm animals, boy, I tell you what, as soon as he gets over here and calls this home, that dude he's like what do they say? He's like John Wayne toilet paper.
He was already roughed up when we got him.
He was.
He had already fought off something at his previous home. And
yep.
There ain't no holding back with that guy.
No. But we're sitting right here right now, and one of those properties we talked about where nobody lives there surrounds us, so to speak. How many head of cattle you see up there?
Just 2. Nope.
Oh, honey, there's...
Oh, yeah, they're up there. Aw. I don't know if they've been so close before.
No. Well, he put hay over there earlier. I waved at him.
So the ranch that surrounds us is more than 10 acres, but less than 1,000.
It's big.
Can't tell you.
It's real big. And I think somewhere down here they even have a thing that like either goes under the road or over it. Like there's 2 whole, I mean, it's a massive operation.
It surrounds us though, and half of their cows actually are just right there. We can see them. They're just right across the pond. And guess what? Nobody lives there.
Nobody lives there. It's awesome.
Sorry, that was rude.
But this is what drew us to this. We're sitting.
Nobody lives
towards the sunset.
In front of where we're living.
Right.
Yeah. So, but that's the massive ranch with cows, and there's probably more animals on there than we think. But
yep. When you guys see this, I have a doctor's appointment 12 hours later, and I could sincerely appreciate some prayers. I'm not having surgery on anything that hasn't been done probably millions of times now.
We'll probably update you when the video comes out on Thursday.
Yeah, we'll know more. That's why we're not sharing now. It's not to whatever, but we don't know a whole lot. I'm hoping I walk in and he's like, oh man, here's a Band-Aid. Don't worry about it.
I know exactly what's wrong.
So anyway, y'all be good. Don't work too hard. Don't make it weird. God bless. Appreciate you.